Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. I recorded this tutorial twice. The first time went smoothly but my laptop crashed and the footage was lost. Determined to share this pendant with you, I recorded it again. Though this time my phone acted up and even my hands weren't cooperating. But in the end I won. I hope you'll love the pendant and give it a try. It does require special materials, but let me know if you'd like me to make a kit for it. You need a thread at least 2 meters long. You will work with both ends of the thread, so you will need to divide it in two with a stopper bead. Leave one side a little bit longer than the other. On the first side of the flower you work with the longer thread. String 22 pieces of size 15 seed beads. Pull the beads down on your thread and go through some beads to form a circle with the beads. Start peyoting with size 15 seed beads. The simple peyote stitch is very easy. You are exiting from a bead, pick up a bead, skip the next bead in your circle and go through the second bead from your circle. If you pull the bead into place and you see that the two beads sit on top of each other, then you know you made it right. Pick up another bead and go through the fourth bead from your circle. Repeat until you reach the end of the row. The pendant has two parts, the flower in the middle of the donut and the hanger. First we work on the flower. And if you want only a fidget spinner, you can stop after the flower is made. But I don't like to sit still. My hands are always doing something, even in the middle of a meeting. If I don't have to write, type, or take notes, I find myself playing with my jewelry just to keep my hands busy. It helps me focus and stay engaged rather than feeling restless. That's why I need jewelry like this. Not just something pretty to wear, but also a functional piece that lets me channel my extra energy whenever I need to. When you string your last bead in this row, you will need to step up for the next row. Go through the last bead from your starting circle and the first bead strung in this row. Start a new peyote row with size 15 seed beads. I sped up this row to not bore you because this is really just a simple peyote row. Don't forget that you can slow it down by clicking on the cogwheel icon and selecting the speed you want. And of course, when you string your last bead in this row, you will need to step up for the next row. If you pull tight the thread, the beads should pop in their place and the beading will not be flat anymore. Start one more peyote row with size 15 seed beads. After the second row, you can remove the stopper bead at any time. It's starting to bother me now in this row, so I remove it. Don't forget to step up for the next row. At this point you made a tube with size 15 seed beads. Let's check if this tube fits in the hole of the donut. And it fits perfectly. Make a peyote row with delica beads. Don't forget to step up for the next row. Make another peyote row with delica beads. Of course, on the end of the row you will need to step up for the next row. In this row, string the drop beads between the delica beads. Work with peyote stitch. Don't forget to step up for the next row. String delica beads between the drop beads. Don't pull the thread tight. Let the delica beads just fall between the drop beads. Don't forget to step up for the next row. String 4 pieces of delica beads between the delica beads strung between the drops. Make sure that the delica beads fall on the back side of the drops. They need to support the drops from underneath. Repeat around. The picots just made with the delica beads are still a little crooked, but the next row will fix them. Go through the first 2 delica from the first picot. String 1 piece of size 15 seed bead and go through the last 2 delica from this picot and the first 2 delica from the next picot. But skip the delica between the picots. Repeat around. This is the last row for this side of the flower. The first side of the flower is finished. Let's see how it looks in place. I'm happy. Still fits. And I can spin it if I want. We need to make the other side of the flower. But first put some double knot on this thread to finish it. I know I say it a lot, but I feel that I need to say it in every tutorial in case you are new to my channel. Never cut a thread right after a knot. Go through some beads, put a double knot, pull the knot inside a bead and go find another spot to make another double knot. I usually make 2 or 3 double knots before I cut the thread. You can ruin your work if you don't finish your thread properly. Sometimes I see threads finished with a knot and with a bit of glue and cut it right after the knot. This is very risky because the glue might not hold the knot properly, causing the thread to come undone, and the entire beading could fall apart. Put a needle on the other thread and let's start the other part of the flower. Put the flower in the hole of the donut. And start the second side with 2 peyote rows with delica beads. Since we have a moment, I'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing and giving it a thumbs up. I share all my knowledge here for free, but to keep creating valuable content, your support is essential. Every like, comment, and share helps the channel grow and reach more people. If you'd like to go a step further, you can buy me a coffee, or check out my tutorials and jewelry pieces. The links are in the description. Thank you so much for helping me keep this channel going. This is the second peyote row with delica beads. Don't forget to step up for the next row. In this row, string drop beads between the delica beads. You need to step out from a drop bead. String delica beads between the drop beads. Step out from a delica bead and string 4 pieces of delica beads between them. Make sure that the delica beads fall between the drops in the donut. Over the past few weeks, I've been trying to show you how fun and playful the craw technique can be. Before that, lots of my videos focused on the peyote stitch. Now I'm bringing peyote back again, but I'm happy to create and share tutorials on any beading technique. I've shown you herringbone, peyote, craw, and simple bead weaving, but there are so many other techniques. What would you like to learn next? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to show you the techniques you're most interested in. In the last row, string one piece of size 15 seed bead on the middle of the delica picots made in the previous row. So, go through the first 2 delica from the first picot, string one piece of size 15 seed bead and go through the last 2 delica from the picot. Repeat around. If you're not sure which technique you'd like to see next, you can still help by telling me what kind of jewelry you enjoy making the most. My favorites are earrings and pendants, but I also love designing bracelets, rings, keychains, or even simple decorative pieces. Help me decide on the next video topic. The flower is finished. If you want only a fidget spinner, you can stop now. But if you want a wearable pendant that is spinning, if you want, follow the video to make a pendant hanger. Put some double knot on the thread and cut it. And it's still spinning nicely. The hanger is made with odd count peyote stitch. String 5 pieces of delica beads. Start a simple flat peyote row. Pick up 1 delica and go through the second delica in the starting row. Pick up another delica and go through the 4th delica in the starting row. You don't have another delica to go through with your last bead. In this row it is simple because you just turn around and you continue beading on the other side. But on your next turn this will be more difficult. Every second row has this odd count peyote turnarounds that I will show you when we reach our next odd turnaround. This row is just a simple peyote row. Start another simple peyote row. But this row will have the odd count peyote turnaround in the end. Pick up the last delica and turn back in the last delica from the penultimate row and the second delica from the row before that. Turn back in the delica standing next to delica where you are exiting and the delica from the penultimate row. And now you can go through the last bead strung in the last row. You will be in the right position to start another simple peyote row. Continue by repeating the rows until you have 16 side beads on each side of your strip. I will continue off camera and I will be back when my strip is long enough. I am here. Let's count the side beads. Are they 16? Yes, they are. But I need to finish the strip with a row that has 2 beads only. I need to lead my thread to the middle gap of my strip. So I turn back in beads and turn again to be in the right position. And now I can attach my strip to the flower. I go through a size 15 seed bead strung on the middle of a picot. And I am going through the last 2 beads from my strip. This way the seed bead is sitting on the middle of the strip. But I need to reinforce this step by going through the beads again. So I need to turn around, go through some beads to be in position to go through the middle delica beads and the size 15 seed bead again. Okay, one side is attached to the strip, but I need to make this on the other side of the strip too. To reach the other side and to make the strip a little bit prettier, I make some picots on the side of the strip. Step out from a side delica. String 3 pieces of size 15 seed beads and go back in the second delica. Turn back in the third delica and repeat. You will string 8 picots until you reach the end of the strip. You can skip and don't make the picots on the side of your strip. The hanger is usable without the picots, but you still need to lead your thread to the other end of your strip. I need to finish this side of the strip with a row that has 2 beads only. And now I need to lead my thread to the middle gap of my strip. I am in place to attach this side of my strip to the other side of the flower. Make sure that your strip is straight before you go through the size 15 seed bead to attach the strip to the flower. Reinforce this step by going through the beads again. The last thing I need to make is the picots from the other side of the strip. I really wanted the picots on the side of the strip, because I wanted some extra bronze in the beading. Without the picots, my beading would be a little too green and dull. But if you choose other colors, perhaps you don't need extra shine or a contrasting picot on the strip. And the fidget spinner pendant is finished. What do you think? It was worth the extra work to make it a pendant? You can weave in the thread and cut it. Did you see last week's videos? It took me a little extra time to record, edit, and upload 2 videos. But if you enjoyed them, I don't mind the extra time. If you've seen them, which one was your favorite? Thread the necklace through the hanger and you are good to go. The result is not just something pretty to wear, but also a functional piece that can be spun to keep the restless hands busy. And that's the end of today's video. If you watched it and liked it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.